Hello, listeners and readers of AwardsWatch.com. This is the AwardsWatch Podcast. I'm the executive editor, Ryan McQuade. This is episode 159. Joining me today is Josh Parham.
Hello, hello.
And Dan Bayer.
Good morning, everybody.
We may or may not have a drop-in from Eric. He said he may or may not be here. He's probably sleeping, and that's why he hasn't responded into this. So, Eric, if you do show up in this episode, we're going to make fun of you for it. And if you don't, we're going to make fun of you after this is done recording. Lots to do. This is probably going to be the last episode of November for us because next week's the Thanksgiving holiday. Everybody will be with their family celebrating Thanksgiving. So happy early Thanksgiving to everybody out there. And we're just going to talk about just a random assortment of things today. We're not really going to have a very big on-track schedule other than like the first topic, which is Josh Parham's reason why he's here, which is the Grammy nominations for this past week. Josh, don't you just love these Grammy nominations?
Oh, yes. I love that musician got nominated, and it was so bad when that other artist didn't. Yeah.
There you go.
Very, very bad Grammys. Yeah.
This is what I brought Josh here for, this insight. Yeah.
I have no clue about anything with the Grammys. I do not listen really to modern music, so I don't even know who's really nominated. So this is going to be a fascinating discussion.
Josh, what do you listen to? I am curious about that.
Oh man, my music library is so eclectic. There is some modern stuff, but there's a lot of old classics. There's house music on there too. It is a wild assortment of things. I have no direct line in terms of what I like to listen to.
Okay. Dan, did you do you follow the Grammys a lot?
A little.
Okay. See, I brought the right people, folks. I brought the right people for a Grammy conversation. No, it was to just kind of give a general brief. So, the Grammy nominations were, I believe, this past Tuesday. Time is a blur. On the morning, it was a big day for Beyonce, who got 9 nominations for her album. Kendrick Lamar received 8 nominations. Brandi Carlile and Adele were tied for 7. Tied for 6 was Mary J. Blige, The Future, DJ Khaled, Harry Styles, The Dream, and Randy Merle. Most notables for 5 nominations were Jay-Z, Doja Cat, Lizzo, and ABBA received 4 nominations. The Album of the Year category, real interesting bunch here, and I'm going to get to it right now. So it was Voyage by ABBA, 30 by Adele, on Venecentin from Bad Bunny, Renaissance from Beyonce, Good Morning Gorgeous from Mary J. Blige, In These Silent Days by Brandi Carlile, Music of Spears by everyone's favorite band Coldplay, Mr. Moral and the Big Steppers from Kendrick Lamar, Special by Lizzo, and Harry's House by Harry Styles. So a real popular bunch there for Album of the Year. I think that, to me, it is their quote unquote best picture category. It was weird to see Lizzo and Beyonce and Adele and Harry Styles and Kendrick Lamar, these modern sort of artists in there with ABBA and Coldplay, which was just so random.
The calendar for the Grammys is the most confusing thing ever to
me. It really is.
Because I look, I'm didn't ABBA's album come out over a year ago?
Yeah.
And Adele's too came out a long time ago. It's just I do not understand how this works.
It's kind of like
season is
from the beginning of this November. It's from the beginning of this November to sometime next October is when their window of eligibility is, which is stupid because then they have the ceremony in late January, February.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's basically like some of the good from last year and some of the good from this year. It's even worse than the Oscars and their silly 1 week qualifying runs where maybe you'll see a movie in 2022 or maybe you'll see it in 2023. Who knows? It's just so weird.
I mean, what's even worse is like someone releases a single, like, you know what I mean, right in the qualifying run, but then the album is next year, so they double dip. It's like the Emmys with like splitting a season. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, the first 6 episodes are nominated for best drama, but next year Better Call Saul can get nominated again. You know what I mean? And it's really stupid. Like, just pick a year.
Strange. Yeah.
And so many categories. I that's another reason why it's
there's just so many.
Because there are so many categories at the Grammys, and I don't have an in-depth knowledge of music as is, and just looking at it from the outside, it's like this person got how many nominations? How's that possible? What are they up for? It's hard for me to track.
Yeah. Well, it's like Beyonce. She's nominated for 9 Grammys. She's in the R&B categories for her songs, but also dance and electronic, where her album was nominated for, but not in R&B, because you can only get your album nominated in one specific category. So then, like Robert Plant and Alison Krauss, who got a couple of nominations, they were in country, they were also in rock. You know, it's this weird thing of like, pick a lane and stick in it. You know, like I can't. Yeah, like I get music is like.
Music is boundaryless, Ryan.
I know,
genres
but
don't matter anymore.
Evidently, because you can say it's like in every category. You know,
it's all just world music. Okay.
Beyonce, with her 9 nominations, became the most nominated artist in Grammy history, along with she is also the most awarded artist in Grammy history. And she yet to have a album of the year, and she might not have it again because
her and Adele just need to stop releasing albums.
You know what's funny is like they're really friendly with one another and have a decent friendship, and it's like girl, stop releasing albums.
I just love that last time at the Grammys when Adele won, she was like, I really want to give this to Beyonce. Beyonce, like, you had my favorite album. You should have won.
Yeah, Lemonade should have won.
Pull a Ving Rhames at the Golden Globes,
get her up there
and just give it to her. Okay.
See, but unlike Jack Lemmon, I don't think Beyonce would have walked up on that stage. Like there's
probably
no way she would have done that. You know what I mean? And so, but also, you know, I think don't like the weird one to look out for all the pop stars and the big artists. Look, don't be surprised if Brandi Carlile pulls off the upset. Our good friend Charlie Bright mentioned this, and it's like that feels completely within their wheelhouse of just like, we're going to nominate somebody that isn't the pop star, but also too, I think Adele has won she's won like double digit Grammys in a row. She hasn't lost a Grammy in like multiple
albums.
Since
21, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that was what was interesting was like Bruno Mars, his collaboration with Anderson .Paak, they pulled out of doing any because they could have double dipped because they won like a bunch of Grammys last year and they could have been nominated again this year, and they pulled out because they're like, they did the right thing, which is we're not going to double dip. But Bruno Mars has like 15 Grammys he's won in a row now, and it would have been an interesting thing to see like Beyonce, Adele, and them, and whose streak was going to break, because Beyonce has a pretty good streak too. So we'll see. This show is going to be probably just like a whole concert. You know what I mean? And I actually don't hate the Grammys presentation because they at least do what the Oscars and others don't, which is they celebrate the music and show as many artists as they can.
Yeah.
And they will sacrifice the awards even just for the performances, which is a little,
It's a little annoying.
It's a little annoying,
it makes
but
sense for the Grammys. Though.
Yeah.
It does,
like, because
since
that
they
is
have
where
a
you want the
million
emphasis.
categories. Yeah.
And especially if you're going to tell me that like we're going to have pretty much all the nominees for album of the year, which means I'm going to have Beyonce, Adele, and Harry Styles perform,
and Lizzo,
and Kendrick Lamar and
Brandi Carlile
and Coldplay and ABBA, which have big audiences as well.
And I mean,
like,
let's be honest, Coldplay will very likely be joined by BTS since My Universe got nominated. Like,
that's true.
It's going to be freaking huge.
Exactly. Kevin Jacobson did have a question for us this week, and thank you, Kevin, for the question, which is, how do you feel about the Grammys having 10 nominees for the general field categories, which is like Song of the Year, Album of the Year, Record of the Year, the big three, basically?
I think it's smart.
Yeah.
I mean, when you consider how many songs and albums get released per year, I mean, we complain about how many movies are released per year or TV shows are released per year. Like, get out.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there are so many more albums and singles that are released any year. I think 10, it feels like a lot, but like considering how many get released each year, I think 10 allows the Grammys to have a much better representation of what the year in music actually looked like.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like I said, I don't pay attention to it a lot, but I know there is a ton of music that gets released every year. And when that happens, I do think you have to open up the field more just to be a tad more representative.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's good. I mean, it allows various genres and various artists and unexpected songs to get nominated in those big categories, and then also too for best new artist you get a bunch of names rather than just like
I've never heard of.
Yeah, and that was actually my segment. I was going to segue to this, and Josh and Dan, I'm gonna do like a little mini game with you guys here.
God,
because there are 10 nominees for new artist of the year, and maybe I'm just old, but I don't know a single name on here. So maybe you guys can help me out.
You think you're old? I'm older than you.
So best new artist.
Well,
here are the if just say something if you know anything about these artists. And maybe this is just because we're out of touch with music, or they just went full on like we're just going to pick names out of a hat. So best new artist of the year, Anita.
I actually have heard of her.
Oh, okay, but you haven't listened to her music, have you?
Well, no, I have.
Is it any good?
I have heard one song. No, maybe a couple songs. It's like pop, kind of Latin pop, a little bit. I believe she is Latin. I know who she is because everyone is going to laugh. She had a song on the soundtrack to the movie Ugly Dolls.
You'll have to educate me on Ugly Dolls. I don't know what that is.
It was a movie that had a lot of musicians in animated movie. Had a lot of musicians doing voices, including Kelly Clarkson.
Okay. Yeah. I'll make sure I put that on the screener pile.
All right.
During the holiday season.
It was a few years ago. You're not missing anything.
Omar Apollo.
Nope.
Domi and JD Beck.
Nope.
Samara Joy.
No.
Lotto.
No.
Mainskin?
Okay, that is the one that I actually legit do know and have listened to.
Oh, okay.
It's like glam rock.
Okay.
Stuff. Right. They had a song that was really big last year or the year before, and they were on SNL.
Okay.
They're fun.
Right. Mooney Long.
No.
Toby Nwigwe. No.
Can't say I am familiar.
Molly Tuttle.
No.
And Wet Leg.
What?
Wet Leg.
Wet Leg.
Yeah. I'm not joking.
Sure.
WET space LEG.
Yeah, those are all totally people and bands, and they're absolutely not things
I think
that Ryan is making up.
Our homework is to listen to this music over the break, just a song or two.
Good. I'm sure they're very talented.
And see who we think's going to win. We're going to bring this crew back to talk about the Grammys in a couple of weeks. And we're gonna and everything, but like
this is not an indictment on the Grammys or
isn't it?
I know, yeah, it's not an indictment on
ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, we're telling on ourselves, and I think it's kind of funny. You know what I mean? I think it's telling. Look,
you can't be an expert at everything.
Yeah, some of us are, awards aces. Some of us are Oscar experts.
I was gonna say, like, you can be an ace at one thing.
Yes. You want to know who's gonna win Best Actress? I can maybe help you with that. But
there you
when
go.
it comes to the Grammys, I don't know.
Who knows?
We're gonna have to make you the Grammy expert there, Josh. We'll mold you into this here at AW. That's for sure. All right. Let's move over. We're gonna get away from the Grammys. There's tons more. I'm sure that we'll be talking about it over the next couple of weeks or whatnot as we get closer and closer to those ceremonies early next year. I wanted to do some Thanksgiving topics because, like, I think that everybody's seeing a lot of movies that we've talked about either on the podcast through festival coverage or whatnot. And if you want to see all those reviews and stuff, you can go on the website at AwardsWatch.com. But I just thought we'd do some simple Thanksgiving topics this week, get to the listeners to know a little bit more about us and in our lives outside of the movie realm, and some of them are movie related. So I'm gonna ask you both, what's your like favorite Thanksgiving traditions that you do with your family? Do you have like special things that you do with them? Maybe it's something going to the movies, or maybe it's just non-movie related and you guys do it every year. Josh?
We get together and eat.
There you go.
That is my tradition.
There you go.
Get together and eat. Which
is it like you?
Me.
Is it like your whole family, and where do you guys usually meet?
Keep it pretty small. It's usually like kind of just immediate family, parents and siblings, which I'm sort of fine with. I think we did something a little bit more extended in the past when we were younger, but kind of feel like now, people don't live that close to each other anymore, so we just sort of make do. But like I said, it's fine with me.
Dan?
So to connect us to our Grammy conversation, one of my traditions for Thanksgiving is I always go to my mom's the day before, and we on Thanksgiving Day we start cooking and we put ABBA Gold on shuffle and just dance around the kitchen while we prep all the food.
Oh, it's like a practical magic sort of moment.
Yeah. We have our little cooking dance party.
There you go. Yeah, I the last year and this year we've hosted Thanksgiving here at the house, and so the whole week is like a mad scramble to make sure everything's okay. So I'm actually in the morning while I've got the parade on. Pro parade, guys. Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Pro parade, anti parade.
Pro the pre-parade when they show all the Broadway show performances.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Josh,
I have no opinion.
Pro or anti? Okay.
I don't care.
You're more like my wife, Josh. She's just like, parades. No, thank you. You know what I mean? And
I just hate crowds in general. So
yeah,
I don't like being a part of a parade. I don't like standing and watching something move
down
the street while it's blocking traffic. I don't like that. But
like the pageantry of watching one, maybe like on that one because it's so specific.
I mean, like maybe when I was a child and
okay.
giant balloons would impress me.
Yeah. Right. As an adult, it's more like, another thing that I do not know what that is as a balloon. Great.
I usually have it on in the background while I'm making sure that the turkey's ready and then the stuff outside is ready for the turkey because we deep fry the turkey.
Yep.
And
nice.
so you got to make sure that it's all patted down, but then also it's properly seasoned and everything. And and so
it takes a long time to season it too.
It really does. Like it takes it's an overnight process, and then you got to make sure that you're doing it again in the morning.
But it's so worth it.
Oh, that's the only really way I can enjoy turkey because doing it in doing it in the oven every time I was a kid, my grandmother would do it, and bless her heart, she'd overcook it, and it would be like I'm having gravy rather than I'm having turkey or I'm having cranberry, because it would dry out. And it's but like when you deep fry it, it's just better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's the only way I can do it now.
Yeah. Do you guys do that still, Josh?
Oh yeah, that is the only way that we have.
That's the only way you can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, listen to me, listen to my family. Beer can turkey on the grill.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's so good.
So we were using a borrowed turkey fryer last year, and for my father-in-law, and it went out. So halfway through, we ended up having to put the turkey on the smoker and smoked it halfway and everything. It was divine. So I might do a little bit of that, where I might just throw it on there, because like while I'm usually cooking the turkey outside, I've got like something going on in the grill. Like I'll do like some sort of veggie or something else out there. Like I've got like a trap, and then I'll make like smoked Brussels sprouts out there, and then I'll add bacon and blue cheese on the inside. Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. That kind of leads me to the next question: is what is your favorite Thanksgiving food item? Like, what's the thing that, like, when you sit down, that's the majority of taking up your plate?
For me, I think it would have to be mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, love mac and cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have one favorite thing. Like I love it all, baby. I love it. The melange, the sort of mess that happens at the end when you have all the juices from everything left behind and just get everything in.
Get a roll and just sop that baby up. Yeah.
I mean, I'll say that maybe like I'm a little biased to whatever it was that I made that year is my favorite thing.
Yeah. Dan liking what they made. Oh, interesting turn of events. Would have never saw that coming for you, Dan.
And I will say, and the other thing is that I will, because not everyone I think does this traditionally necessarily for Thanksgiving, but my family does, and I know Eric will agree with me. Roasted beets and other root vegetables, absolutely.
Here we go.
Plate.
Of course, the beets were going to be brought up with or without them today.
Now, here's the other important Thanksgiving question: cranberry sauce, homemade or from the can?
Homemade.
Yeah, my one of my family members, they make a cranberry relish, and
nice.
And it's really good. It's almost like some of them have it as just like part of their dessert, even, and I think that's a little too far. But it's actually really good. But yeah, from a can is.
I have nostalgia for the can shape, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I like the big blob of like
the
gel,
the Jello.
I'm sorry. Like I said, I have nostalgia for it because that's what we always did.
No, that's what we.
Oh, sure, yeah,
we did early. No, but like the one thing that we don't do from a can is pumpkin. We don't do canned pumpkin. My dad actually cooks pumpkin and with cinnamon, and it's a whole day process that he'll do like weeks before, and then he'll take the pumpkin and he'll put it in bags and freezer bags, and then that's what we use as the base for like pumpkin bread or pumpkin pie. So it's never out of a can, and,
no,
which is like gross. Like,
which that was going to be my question for y'all: pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie?
It's
sweet potato pie.
It's pumpkin pie for me, but I love sweet potato pie, so it's like I'm not opposed to it.
My family's black, so we're sweet potato pie.
Yeah. I get that, Josh. I get that. There's no way I can respond to that.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. No, but like if it was available, I'm not going to say no to it because sweet potato pie is delicious.
It is.
But the pumpkin pie is like my grandmother's recipe that my dad's made, makes the crust and everything. So it's like that's tradition when it comes to that. But my favorite like Thanksgiving thing is because you don't really usually get it a lot throughout the year. It's usually the thing that you don't get a lot throughout the year. Like I get mashed potatoes, you can get green beans throughout the year. Stuffing is the thing that makes Thanksgiving great, because like unless you're gonna go out and make stuffing, which why in the like throughout the rest of the year, I don't know. It like just makes sense. And so stuffing with like gravy on top, it's just like it's just like what the holiday is all about. But yes, the deep fried turkey is great. Oh, what was it? But yeah, I'll do the Brussels sprouts or whatever too. Like we try to have as much food as possible. We're only going to have like 9 or 10 people this year, but yet we're just going to feed them like a smorgasbord worth of food, just so then like if you walk away from Thanksgiving still hungry, you've done something wrong, I think.
Oh yeah.
I've been to those Thanksgivings before.
I have, we usually, and it's a very small Thanksgiving. We used to host for like the whole extended family, and now it's just like a few of us. But we always joke that like if you get to the Thanksgiving meal and you somehow still have room to eat, by the time it's time for dinner, you've been doing something wrong.
When do you guys usually, like what time? Do you guys do
whenever the turkey is ready?
That's fair.
Yeah, it's usually, I mean, for me, I tend to actually work on Thanksgiving. So I tend to not really be able to participate until the afternoon, but that's fine with me because like I'm off of work and I can eat right away. So I'm good with that.
In the tradition of sounding like a Texan on this podcast, we eat at 1:30 every year because at 3:30 Central Standard Time, the Dallas Cowboys play every year on Thanksgiving. So it's only right, because it's real quiet. We'll have music on in the background and everything. And then when dessert is at halftime of the game. So like you got a full half to watch the game, relax, have a drink, just chill. And then we cut the pies and everything at halftime. And so, yeah, if it's not all around football, it wouldn't be Texas then, I guess. So
for sure.
Do you guys have any movie related plans for this holiday? Because there are so many movies out, but then also too, it could just be a good time to be with your family and do some classics that you haven't watched with them, or that you guys traditionally watch around the holiday season. So do you guys have any movie related plans this holiday? Dan?
So it's different this year. So we always go to my mom's, and she moved recently from where she used to live to up on Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Okay.
And so normally it would be like if this was a regular year, I would have like bought tickets for everyone to see Glass Onion at the local multiplex, and we would have just gone because everybody's watching Glass Onion. And that is my thing that I want to do with everybody on Thanksgiving. But this year, because it's a little more remote than where she used to be, we just don't know if it's even going to be playing anywhere within a reasonable distance from where they are. So we may do that if it's playing there and it's not sold out. Otherwise, I just plan on taking the neon box up to just like saying, okay, you have some of the best movies of the year right here. I'm putting in Broker. What else do y'all want to watch?
Yeah, that's actually like a really good movie.
It is a
honestly,
good movie.
when you think about it, because it's about like this hodgepodge family coming together for this, for what happens in that film. It's a really makeshift family. It's really good. Josh, do you have any movie related plans this holiday coming up?
I might actually go on Thanksgiving to see something. 1,000 years ago, I actually did work in a movie theater, so I always have conflicted feelings about going to the theater during that time because I know how busy it is, and I don't know if I want to be a part of that madness, even if it's on the other side. But Thanksgiving night usually is pretty slow, which I find to be a better time to go. So I still need to see Bones and All, and I know that's going to be releasing around that time. So
that would be a good one for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving movie.
Because if you were hungry before, you'll be hungry after.
Yeah, it certainly seemed appropriate. So I probably will be checking that out around Thanksgiving for sure.
Yeah, we usually go like the day after, because
you and everybody else.
Yeah, which is a stupid thing, but like on Christmas is actually when we go to the movies, which is like when everybody else decides to do that shit too. And because of the fact that like by the time everybody leaves and by the time the football game ends, it's like 7 o'clock over here, and we're just like wiped out. So, but like the weekend, I mean, I know that I'm going to go see Glass Onion with the family because they really all want to see it on the big screen.
Nice.
Fortunately, there's a press screening early in the week on Monday, and so I'm going to take my dad to see The Fabelmans, because that feels like a movie for everyone to see. Kind of
very much so. My parents have already been asking me about.
Yeah,
it, so like it's a good sign for them.
we were at everybody was over last night at the house because it was my mom's birthday, and the TV was on the background. And the Fabelmans trailer played, and it got really quiet in the house when that came on. And they were like, "Is that Spielberg's new movie?" I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, we should see that." And so everybody was trying to figure out like what movies to see. I also know that we like Dan mentioned, the Neon box set is now at the house, and so like I want to watch probably movies that are for me that I don't that are not going to be for everybody else. But I think that those are the ones that I really want to see. I know I want to see Pinocchio again on the big screen.
There's a theater around Chicago that's actually playing it in 35 millimeter, which I am trying to get to because I really would like to see it in that format.
I like to see Bardo because Josh's favorite movie of the year. I like to see that again, maybe. Take my family especially to see that one too.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a fan of the movie, but I understand why people do love it. I don't take anything away from people that do find great things about that movie, and I understand. It is a very it's a specific movie. I think why it and one that would be appreciated in a theater too. Yeah, I think much more than just like at home though. Like you can this is an argument that we've said for years and years. You can emulate the theater experience as much as you want, but there's nothing like going to the theater. And also too, like it is the time to kind of go out and and do all that. I'm curious for you guys. This is the age old question. When does the December holiday season start kicking in? Is it like the day after Thanksgiving? Is it like the minute you're done with the turkey? Because like for most people, like holiday or Hanukkah or everything, like that holiday season, commercialized to be damned, is like for most people, like the minute they can, they're putting up, the holiday lights or whatever. So do you guys wait? Do you wait till December? Like what's y'all's tradition the minute after Thanksgiving's done? Do you guys have one?
So it's always different for us because, Jewish. So Hanukkah is at a completely different time every year. Like sometimes it's just right after Thanksgiving and it's like, well, might as well just celebrate it now. And other times it's, closer to Christmas time or at any point in between. So it always just sort of depends for us on when Hanukkah falls.
Yeah, the tradition normally in my family was we would always wait until after Thanksgiving, maybe like that weekend we would start to put stuff up. As I have gotten older, I have been sort of less into the whole celebrating Christmas thing. So I don't really do much of it myself in terms of the decorations and all that. But I guess in terms of my mentality of, I guess Christmas time is approaching. Yeah, that doesn't really start to kick in until like after Thanksgiving, like the week after Thanksgiving.
Stuff doesn't go up in the house until December, and it goes down the minute December's over.
I appreciate that, Ryan.
Yeah.
This infatuation with having to have Christmas like 365 days in the fourth out of the year is obsessive much.
Yeah. I think it's good to keep it up until New Year's. I think that.
Yeah, I think New Year's is fine, but like
because New Year's is still festive, and you can still be in the mood for that a little bit. But after the New Year, that needs to come down.
Yeah, that needs to come down.
My least favorite people are the people who
Christmas in
put
July,
their Christmas stuff up after Halloween, like the
Yeah.
day after Halloween, and leave it up until Valentine's Day.
Well, and keep
Like,
and also
no,
like
that's
skip
just
over
desperate and
well,
sad. I'm
skip over
sorry.
Thanksgiving too, which is just like
The
a pretty great
American holiday. I
Yeah.
mean, come on. You're just, I'm sorry. If you skip right from Halloween to Christmas, you are not a patriot. Sorry. That's just how it is. It's the American holiday, and you're not thankful for anything.
There
So,
you go. I don't Christmas music, it does not exist until the 11th of December. Because I can only put up with it for 2 weeks. And then the minute
a friend of mine has already gotten Whamageddon.
No.
This year. And I'm like, how? No, that should be banned.
No. And then when it's done on the 25th, I don't want to hear it again for like another year.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to hear it. I know that makes me sound like a Scrooge, but trust me, there are plenty of other people on the other side that love all that stuff. It's okay to be on this side of history, like not want to do that and everything.
Yeah, I don't need to hear it November 1st.
It's also, well, yeah. And also too, like when I was in college, I worked, we all worked our jobs or whatever. And I worked as in the food industry. And in the back when we would prepare things or whatnot, it would start in November. And they would play the same, like every day you go in, exactly at what time, which song was playing. And it was like only like I think maybe like a 6 or 7 hour tape. So it would play over and over and over again. And it was mind numbing. It made the holidays imagine. Like I was in the car, I was like, no, I'd like just slam everything out. And so like there are certain versions of certain songs too. Like I just never going to happen again. I guess the last question I have for you guys is, what are you most thankful for this year as a lover of cinema, but mostly as a film critic too? This is a good time to reflect on what we're most thankful for. So, Josh, what are you most thankful for other than, just movies in general?
I mean, I'm just thankful to, honestly, just to be able to see them and to get, be very lucky to have some invites sometimes to see things early and just to be in on the conversation. I'm glad that we still have theaters to see them in. I think that actually is very important at this moment. And and just have people to talk about them with.
Yeah. Dan?
I am happy that movies are back, baby. Like it really did feel for like a while there we didn't have like the like big like the movies.
You mean like the
theaters.
movie movies?
Yeah, like except for like, and not to completely dismiss them, but except for the Marvel movies. For like the past 2 years, it's been like, unless you're a Marvel fan, the big movies are very few and probably not all that great for the past couple of years. But this year has been just like maximalist filmmaking has been back and splashed all over our screens, and I love it. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Top Gun Maverick, RRR. You could even say Glass Onion is, like sort of this return to like, it reminds me in many ways of Ocean's 11, where you just have this massive cast having fun with this little genre piece. And I am just like so here for that. Movie stars are back, big movie stars. And like, I loved The Lost City and Ticket to Paradise, even though they're bad movies, because we just have like movie stars, So that's what I'm most happy for this year, and happier that it has gotten easier to see foreign films.
Yeah.
I feel like since Parasite, they're getting a lot wider releases, or at least more accessible on platforms like Amazon Prime and Netflix and stuff than they have been in the past.
Yeah, I am thankful for the movies. as they call it. And the fact that I think this year has been a really good year for movies. And it feels back to sort of like, I wouldn't say like we're back to what it used to be pre-pandemic, but it does feel like it's a very balanced. And like right now, if you go to a theater, there are so many options to see other than just Wakanda Forever. There are so many movies, so many topics, so many different kinds of movies that represent so many different subsects of audiences. You know, you have like The Fablemans and Glass Onion, but then you have Bones and All, but then you have, you know, Bardo, and you have Pinocchio, and you have She Said, and you have Ticket to Paradise, like you mentioned, and there's all these different films that check off boxes for everyone, and that's what we've kind of missed over the last couple of years is choice, and be able to have that choice yet again as a film critic or whatnot, and not just to have to, it's this movie and that's really all we can talk about for 2 weeks. And so it's nice to have the or even the menu too, which is out right now as well, another food movie that we can all go and salivate over this Thanksgiving holiday. There's a lot to see. And so I'm thankful for that, because then that means that, yes, theaters are open and everything, but, and not to get too sappy about it, but I'm thankful for you guys and for everybody that works at the site, for Eric, for everyone that does this stuff with myself and does this stuff for the site. It's been just like a really great year, and we've had a really good year, and everybody's got to go to festivals, and they've got to meet people, and they've got to interact with others, and they've got to hang out. And the more important thing is we've all got to sit in a theater together after 2 years of uncertainty, and be able to sit next to people that we've talked to over Zooms or that we've texted numerous times or FaceTimed or whatever, and been able to get that experience back of sharing cinema again. And so it's really like, what I'm thankful for is that we're all still doing this, and we're able to still do this, and we're able to do this and have so much fun in the process of it. And trust me, Twitter has been an absolute chaotic mess over the last couple of days. And Dan and I were on a space the other night, and we were like, if this ship's going down, it's going down. But I'm grateful that we have this show, and we have all these other things that are able to kind of keep us all together in case something like that does implode, because we met all each other through this weird sort of online, mess of a thing. And now we're all here together doing shows or reviewing things or joking with one another or celebrating everyone's achievements and pull quotes and going to screens and all these different things. So it's just, that's what I'm most thankful for is not just our community and the people that our audience that listens to the show or reads our stuff, but also just you guys in general. So that's what I'm most thankful for this year.
Co-sign all of that.
Yeah. And
Amen.
you guys can send me your Venmos for those compliments later. No, I'm just kidding. But it's always great to do this, and hopefully we can do this as long as we can before they figure it out. You know what I mean? Before they figure out, doesn't it feel every single year that when we go to the festivals, or we're doing all this stuff, or you get the screeners or whatever, it feels like you're even though we've had so many accomplishments, it still feels like a little bit like, okay, when are they going to figure it out? When are they going to be like, what, those guys really, or over there? So I'm still very grateful for it, and I'm also grateful for all y'all's friendships. So, all right, well, those are kind of the Thanksgiving topics. We didn't really have much more than that, and we're not going to talk about Twitter. So.
Please no. I don't want to talk about that.
No,
Josh, you don't have any thought. Josh has more thoughts about the Grammys.
No, I do not want to talk about the mess that is Twitter right now. My feeling is just whatever happens. I'm just gonna stay in my lane and keep doing what I'm doing, and we'll just see.
No, for sure. At least we'll have the show, and we'll have the movies.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's go over to our listener questions for this week. We've got some good ones here. So Kinsey asks, you can bring one person in the current Oscar conversation as your plus one to Thanksgiving dinner with your family. Who are you bringing? Dan Bayer.
Oh, one person as a plus one to Thanksgiving dinner with my family. I mean, would it be too much to ask to have Colin Farrell as my date to Thanksgiving? I don't think
it's a bad idea.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing with this question, because I was thinking like there's two ways to answer it. There's like who do you want to bring as a date, but then there's also who would I want to bring just purely for like the intellectual conversation that they would have.
And that's where like I feel like Colin Farrell is straddling the line between those, because he'd be fun. Sure. He'd be fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I just have too many options for the former. So I'm going to answer it with the latter in terms of just who I think would have those really great conversations. And I'm going to say Sarah Polley.
Ooh. That would be really good.
Okay.
She would be really good. For the latter, I would, of Josh's two choices, I would say I think Guillermo del Toro would be a great person to bring.
Yeah.
I think that
we just be excited about everything.
Yeah, he's just a really nice guy, and I feel like the whole room would be warm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, wouldn't even have to turn on the heater or anything. It would just the warmness of his joy for cinema. Also, too, he'd bring the Pinocchio puppets.
Life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be pretty good. Trying to think of some. You guys got any others? You guys can say them. It's fine. I know we're only supposed to do one, but we can bring multiple.
I mean, it's
people.
a given. People expect me to say this, but yeah, I'll just say it anyway. Yes, Ben Whishaw.
Yeah, I was going to say Ben Whishaw makes sense. I mean,
it's so obvious. It's like, do I really want to just throw it out there? But yes, I mean, very, very clearly that would also be, he would be a contender.
I got to say this, after talking with him this past week for my interview up on the site, like Todd Field was a really just pleasant conversation to have.
I was going to say, like, that would be a really good conversation.
He was like, you know, what was great about him was it was quiet at first, but then as the more you started talking to him, the more it started unloaded. And then you were like, oh yeah, you are the guy that wrote Tar. Cause like there's a large monologue in you, you know what I mean? And, and I also think too, like the idea of Sarah Polley and Field is like, they haven't done a lot of movies in the last couple of years, so to be able to talk to them about things as well, and so I think that they would be pretty great.
I would like to have everyone involved with Glass Onion.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson at
like
a part.
Ryan Johnson,
that would be pretty good.
He is the best. He's like he has that sort of Guillermo del Toro-ish, like just joy for everything, but also Daniel Craig.
I would like to invite Park Chan-wook because he is such a very nice and kind gentleman that you know, he just like in my interactions with him this year, he's just been very, very nice. And but then also too, like, I mean, yeah, Colin Farrell would be great.
You know, he'd like just have everyone laughing the whole time.
Also, too, another person that would be really, but like everybody would just like love to see him there is Brendan Fraser. You know, like everybody would just, you know, that would just be very nice. I would. You know
who else seems like a very nice man? Austin Butler.
Yeah, I mean, it would be weird to hear Elvis at my table because like his voice has been.
But you know, he comes across very introverted to me, though.
A little.
He just seems very quiet, which is like the opposite of what Elvis is. You know,
but I mean, look, he seems nice, but like, let's be honest, we're not inviting him over for the conversation.
I mean, there's that too. Yes,
I know. I saw his outfit at the Governor's Awards last night. I was like, that's barely a shirt, sir. You know what I mean? I would invite Mark Rylance as Sully from Bones and All.
Please.
Well, they just wants a little bit more cranberry. You know what I mean?
I am so excited to see him in that movie.
Oh my god.
Josh, I have to know what you think of that
Yeah.
performance once you have seen it. It is a life-changing performance from
I
Mark
cannot
Rylance.
wait. I really
It's
can't.
so good.
Michelle Yeoh
So
also too
good.
for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like the cast of Everything Everywhere All at Once
Yes.
would be really great because they just seem like really, really great people. There's a lot of really great, nice people. Even Blanchett would be somebody too.
Yeah.
Like
Olivia Colman.
Oh
Olivia
my God.
Colman. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
kind of the ultimate dinner guest, I feel like.
I feel like, oh my God, the stories and like the probably like the awkward faux pas even too. That would be kind of fun.
God. I just love her. Yeah.
Who doesn't love Olivia Colman? Yeah.
Really.
There's so many great people. Jacob wants to know, with Viola Davis in prime position to win an EGOT because she was nominated for a Grammy for I think it was like a spoken
reading of her biography.
Her biography. What entertainer with 2 or less of the 4 awards do you think will EGOT during their career? Also, which of the 4 do you think is easier and hardest to win? I think the hardest one to win is a Tony. Because most actors or musicians that get those don't go on to do stuff on the stage. So I always think that's the toughest.
And like this, like it is a very specific skill set performing in a Broadway show. Like that does not always carry over from from the TV or movie side to things.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but on the other hand, like we think about that as just performing, but there are so many other ways to EGOT, right? You know, like producers have EGOTed,
yeah,
songwriters, composers do it all the time, and writers could. I feel like I don't even think he has 2 yet. But I feel like Martin McDonagh could do it. I don't know how he'd get a Grammy, but I feel like it wouldn't be that hard for him to
original
write a
song
teleplay
for a movie
something.
that he writes.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're going to say Martin McDonagh, like Phoebe Waller-Bridge would be somebody because she's got the Emmys.
I could see that.
She could write a play. She could do
release a comedy album.
A comedy album. She could write a screenplay and win a best original screenplay. Like that feels like something.
Well, I know somebody who has 2 that I think is absolutely going to do it. Is Bo Burnham.
I can see that. Yeah.
I mean, he needs to make another movie first,
that.
but I totally see that being in his future.
Oh yeah.
The one that I thought of because they're so big in theater and they've got that one and they've got an Oscar was Sam Mendes. Because the fact that like he could do a television series easily and win an Emmy for like directing,
producing a television series,
yeah. And like with a Grammy, I mean, that would probably be the hard one for him is to win the Grammy.
Directors, it's hard to get Grammys, but
writers are the thing. Yeah, actors are better at it. Like Olivia Colman could be someone that totally does it. Like I could see her doing a play.
She'll get on Broadway at some point. Absolutely.
Yeah. And she'll win a Grammy for, I mean, shoot, she could sing or something. I don't know. You know
she'll read somebody's biography or something.
She'll read about the night she beat Glenn Close and it'd be great for everyone not named Kevin Jacobson. But
she's not Lady Gaga.
Yeah, she needs a Tony and she needs
an Emmy.
Right?
Which she could do a variety special.
Yeah.
And win one and she clearly has the performing chops to be on Broadway. It's just a question of will she do it,
Adele is real close.
Yeah.
She's got Grammys, she's got an Oscar.
Yeah.
Does she have an Emmy for one of her specials? She's
actually, I think she does. I think
she just needs a Tony.
Yeah,
I think
because I think she just recently won. I remember hearing something that she got 3 of them now.
Yeah, so those are, and that's always interesting. Is like the people that are on the cusp of winning something like that. Like, like what's always interesting is like listening to like Cate Blanchett and some other actors that that like they've got a ton of accolades, but they've really only got the one thing. They don't have the other three. Like Blanchett has like 2 Oscars. Like Frances has like 3. Like Meryl not having it is kind of crazy, but she's just because she's only really
she
gone
has not
into
come back to the stage
in like years, and I don't think she ever
like,
will.
come on, Mary Louise.
McDormand does have 2. So.
But like, wait, someone just came up. Blanchett could do it
for this year. Because isn't she credited on the score for Tar if like they won the Grammy like next year? Yeah, isn't she part of like with Hildor? Like, weren't they trying to push that or whatever?
I've not heard that.
Grammy rules are different than the Oscar rules.
Yeah,
yeah. So, but yeah, I also just think it's easier for women to win this category, than it is men, because most male actors, they don't tend to go onto the stage. From what I gather, like I don't know, most of the EGOT winners are for acting purposes are female actors. You don't see it a lot from guys.
True. I feel like the Grammy is the thing there, though, not the Tony.
Yeah. I don't know.
That said, like, you'd think that Hugh Jackman would be closer to this than he is, being the triple
when
threat.
He wins for the Sun.
He kind of is, though. He is only missing the Oscar to complete that.
Does he really?
Yeah.
When did he win an Emmy?
When did he win a Tony?
He won a Tony for The Boy from Oz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he does have an Emmy for something.
Does he have an Emmy for like hosting the
I think he has
Tonys?
like a
Or
performer
Oscars?
in a variety special.
Oh yeah, that may be.
Okay.
Like for
And I know he has a
Tonys,
Grammy for one of the soundtracks that he did.
Okay.
I think it was for The Greatest Showman.
Oh.
I didn't want to say it, but
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, that's why he's probably pushing for the Sun so much.
Yeah, he won for hosting the Tonys.
He's going to get an Oscar because everybody loves him. He's like he's a very likable guy. Like no one's ever said it. I'm not talking about his performances. I'm just talking about the person. And we all know, Dan, it's never just about the performances.
Never.
When it comes to the Oscars. Otherwise,
I mean, if the Sun was better, he would be in the conversation. I think more so this year.
I agree. If the movie was better, he would be a big threat. Now he's just maybe a potential nominee. So. TV Fontaine wants to know: should we be talking more about Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio as a Best Picture nominee?
I think a lot of people already are.
I
don't know how far it really will get, but I mean, Del Toro made a surprise last year with getting into a Best Picture lineup, so I would say never count it out.
Everybody loves him, but I feel like there is this bias against animated features and documentaries, particularly in Best Picture, because there is quote unquote already an award for that.
Yeah.
So,
but they've started to get over that with international.
They have started to get over it with international, and it's not like it's completely without precedent for an animated film to get in, but a non-Disney / Pixar animated film has never happened before. And I think in order for it to happen, I really think it needs to be Netflix's #1 priority, and I'm not entirely sure that it is.
Yeah, at this point, it feels like they've got like 4 priorities and haven't correlated on just one. Because like the Glass Onion, as great as it is, it's like I don't see that as like a potential Best Picture nominee at this point.
Oh, I think it could be. I mean, depending on how the theatrical run goes and what. Yeah. But Knives Out is one of those movies that just picked up a cult following after it was released and after it's an Oscar nomination, and I feel like people are ready for Glass Onion, and there are a lot of people not everybody, but I feel like there are enough people who are saying that it's better than Knives Out for it to be one of those sequels that does do better at the Oscars than the original. But again, like it's one of those things where you'd have to push it. I mean, it is a movie that should easily be getting screenplay, production design, costume design, score,
supporting actress.
Yeah, supporting actress, lead actor, frankly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know, but then they also have, you know, the Bardo
All Quiet
of it all.
on the Western Front and Bardo,
and they're trying to figure that out with those. It might just be with those films. Those might just be the international plays and you know, maybe a director spot for Inarritu if the, you know, cinematography maybe for Bardo.
I also have White Noise.
Yeah, I think that's just like a screenplay thing, and
people keep saying that Don Cheadle is
he's great. No,
spoiler.
He's great. I would love Don Cheadle to get in, but also I'm like,
and best song.
I mean, yeah, if that got into best song, I want that. That like kind of put that on my Christmas list. But I think that there is a world with it because, like you mentioned, Josh, he's so loved in the Academy, and this is a passion project he's been working on for like half of his career, and he's been everywhere already. And he's doing the whole circuit, and he's taking those figurines everywhere he's going, and he's like playing with them and showing them off and showing that he knows how to work those as much as the animators do. And everybody loves him. And if Nightmare Alley can get in without like director or screenplay and just get in off of its essentially off of its tech nominations and its director,
and its stars, and the fact that it was like the last thing everyone saw that year.
Yeah, and I think that original score, original song, production design are should be on the table for this movie. I have been pushing
for animated features to get nominated in production design for decades.
That whole movie is. I mean, you could even argue visual effects in the Kubo and the Two Strings argument, if you want to as well. So that's 4. You could argue adapted screenplay if you wanted to, which is 5. You know, like an animated feature, I believe makes it 6. So like there is a high ceiling for it. I tempered the expectation because of what Dan said about Pixar. Like it has to be the universal, one of the best films of the year. Probably needs to like win all the critics prizes for animated feature and be like this juggernaut of like, yes, this is Del Toro's like one of his best films of his career, which I think it is. But I don't think it's out of the realm of having it in like a 6 to 10 spot. You know, now that we have a firm 10.
It's in play for sure.
Look, anything that makes grown men cry is a threat for Best Picture. It's true. It is.
It is. Yeah. Well, I think this movie is making everybody cry.
Making people cry. So, yeah.
Did you guys see it yet?
I have not. No.
I did see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like it, Josh?
I did. I don't think it's perfect. I do have some issues kind of towards the back end of the movie where I do think it slows down just a little bit and I'm not quite as invested, but I did still really like the movie overall.
Better Pinocchio than Zemeckis?
Just by a tad.
Okay, just by a smidge.
Yes.
All right. Last question we have is Scott wants to know, what would you say at the moment are your top 3 films for Best Picture? In your predictions, I guess.
I was gonna say, is that talking our predictions or our preference?
I mean, preference would be an entirely different ball game than what it is. I think it's meaning our predictions. And since it is like the last time we'll be talking about this in November, we can talk about this, I guess, briefly. Where do you guys have right now in your top 3 spots, Josh?
Well, I still have Fabelmans at number 1. It still feels like it's good to keep there just for now. It could get replaced, but at this moment it still feels good. I do have Everything Everywhere All at Once. I don't know how confident still I am about that, but just sort of in the absence of all of our major precursors being announced, it just feels like it should still be there. And the other one I'm actually going to say is Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially with how well I think that will do with the actors, it feels like a top 3 contender.
Yeah. Dan?
I currently do have Fabelman still as my number 1. It is the one to beat until proven otherwise at this point. I go back and forth on Everything Everywhere, honestly. But my number 3, Banshees is my number 4, but my number 3 is Women Talking.
That was the other one I was kind of going back and forth between as well.
Yeah. So my 3 right now, I got, after seeing the film and thinking about it, I finally have convinced myself. I put the Fabelmans in my 1 spot.
That's right.
And number 2, I still have Women Talking. I think that movie has played really well everywhere it's gone. That cast has been everywhere. I think Sarah Polley's, she's in my director lineup, should be in everybody's director lineup. Like, if you don't have her in your director lineup, you're doing something wrong. That movie is gonna start. I think they just did a press conference. They're gonna literally have like a premiere in a couple of weeks, and I think it's in a really good location and spot for itself. Number 3 right now, Banshees of Inisherin. Like, that is a movie that I still can't not forget about how that was affecting multiple theater audiences at festivals that are completely different than one another. And, one at a genre fest, one at a more, one at like Middleburg, and those voters, and how it worked, and they were sold out, and the second screenings were even more packed than the first. Not saying it's like a Parasite sort of vibe, but it has like a great energy behind that. And that cast is great. It's, they like McDonough's stuff. And yeah, I'm still not, I'm going to be a little bullish on this just for the time being. And I think it's okay what you guys mentioned, which is I'm not sold yet on Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, this is like, I know that the internet has this love for this movie, and I love it too. I think it's a really good movie, but at the same, I think
we all have it in our top, like, upper
it's
tier
like in,
of the
it's
year.
like in my top 20 of the year somewhere. Like, there's a lot of great movies, so I don't know where it's or it might just be in my top 25 or something. But
at least even for Oscar predictions, I think we still have it.
It's up there
high, but
like,
I keep going back and forth on whether the Academy at large is going to go for it.
That, and when I talked to some people out in LA, it was a lot of people were like, I didn't understand the film, or I needed somebody to explain it to me. I needed I turned it off because I was confused, and all it takes is a little, and like, these more straightforward films are really going to be more their bread and butter, especially also too when you have something like Steven Spielberg making his life essentially on screen. And yeah, I still am hesitant to give my full endorsement to A24, who clearly have a film right now that they are meticulously marketing and trying to campaign, which is The Whale, which pretty much has an Oscar walking in the door already. It feels like, not that it's sewn up yet, but it's what the temperature feels like. And they
have been pushing it though. Like, they have been pushing Everything Everywhere at screenings for
they have
doing them. They're very much behind the movie. They know, and I think that they need to just like bring it back into the conversation because it was released so early.
It was released at the last Oscars.
Yeah. But like, I think that's the one thing that they have to do is like make it part of the conversation again, because that movie, its box office performance, like, that is the number 2 box office story of the year behind Top Gun Maverick. Which, like, really, if we're talking about like, at this point, I really do think Top Gun is a lock for a nomination.
Yeah. How many nominations is a conversation, but
is a conversation, but I do think that like that movie is maybe even more solid than Everything Everywhere All at Once. But I think that Everything Everywhere, I think it has enough passionate picks behind it, people who will have it at number 1 on their ballot to get in to Best Picture. Not to
it will be in
win
the
necessarily.
It will be there in the lineup, yeah. But
winning is the other question.
Yeah, and I think that's where you start to play the game of like, okay, what's its path to win? Well, it would have to win like original screenplay, which is not easy when you have Martin McDonagh and you have Tony Kushner and Steven Spielberg right there as well.
It could win, but original screenplay is very tough.
Yeah.
You know, supporting actor, everyone seems likely, but everyone seems to like want to give it that, and it's like, yeah,
I'm not ready to anoint him as the front runner and nothing can stop him. I mean, I would say he's in a very good position, and he could very well just coast to a win, but I'm not at this point. I
have to see it.
He's going to,
especially like that category. The supporting categories love co-lead performances, and Brendan Gleeson is right there, and he's another one that everybody loves, and this is the first chance they've had. So
I also love celebrating veterans, and Judd Hirsch is right there, and there's Dano will probably be around in the mix as well. But then also too, like Best Actress, it's the most competitive race again this year.
I don't even know if Michelle Yeoh gets nominated, and it, that's crazy.
And if she doesn't, we can kiss that narrative of that winning Best Picture over. And done.
I completely agree.
Director is not easy for them to get into.
I think they're bubble contenders.
Editing
editing.
Editing is like it's fighting Top Gun Maverick.
And if Top Gun Maverick is winning sound, it's probably
winning editing.
Which Everything Everywhere should also be getting a sound nomination, frankly.
Yeah, but it's not winning sound.
But it's not winning. Yeah. And it should be honestly getting a nomination for Best Visual Effects too, but that's going to be so hard.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of visual effects heavy movies this year. And they don't have an established team that branch loves.
It could get into original song, but it's like on the like a lot of,
I don't know.
But it could, but that's a push. You know what I mean? Like to get on the short list would be really good for it. I think, it's production design and its costumes are great, but it's modern.
Yeah.
And you know how that branch, I hate it, but talk about a branch that needs an update is the costume branch of the Academy.
And hair and makeup too. It should be contending for all those crazy Jobu Tupake looks.
But then
again, that's such an insular, weird branch. Who knows what they're gonna do?
And supporting actress is so crazy. You don't know if it'll grab even one of them, let alone two of them. It's so that movie. It's like when you start breaking it down, like its best day right now. When you start thinking about it, could be 4 or 5 nominations.
I mean, on its best day,
to all the it's realistic day. I mean,
its most realistic day, I think, is probably 3 to 4, maybe even.
And
the range on this thing is just
it could get nothing, and it could get like 10
everything.
Literally.
And that's the thing. And then what'll be the most insufferable conversation from that going forward from those fans of the film will be, oh, well, if Coda can win with 3 or 4, so can this. And that's just not the case.
As we know, Coda, you could literally sit anybody in front of that movie and they would, at worst, say, it was good.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, it's a straight, and also, too, you're probably going to get a tear out of them. And you can probably get some tears out of people here if they complete the film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They get there. And I'll say, like, the people that I know who look more like the typical Academy voter that I know, that has been their thing there. I didn't really understand what was happening. It's a little out there. Dildos, butt plugs, really?
Sausage
Do you have to do
fingers.
that? Yeah, they don't respond to that kind of weirdness.
They like some weird things, but not that weird. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And the people that are championing it are really pushing that narrative, like, well, it's weird, and this is like, I'm like, this movie will very much feel like The Matrix to me still, even though like the movies comparison like that of like, that was a movie that underperformed at the Academy, but its longevity is one of the best films of its era. And
I mean,
think
underperformed, quote unquote, still won 4 Oscars.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Well, it didn't.
I know what you mean, though. They're all below the line.
Above the line, Josh, like non-existent. You know,
I know that people are going to shout at us. I just want to.
Yeah, no. That's fair. That's fair. No. I agree. Yeah,
but it did win 4 Oscars. So
it did win 4. Yes.
Well.
Yeah, but that's where it stopped. You know what I mean? And also, it won in an age where I believe it won both sounds.
Yep.
Yeah, both sounds, visual effects, and editing.
Yeah, which I mean. Good for it. And that could very well be what this movie does, where it's like,
it could, but this movie could, but this movie could also be Cloud Atlas.
No, very much so.
Yeah, people just need to understand that old traditional section of the Academy does not have as much influence as it did years ago, but it still has influence.
But, yeah, it is still the majority.
I mean, yes, that's what happened with Coda. I mean, the cool, pick last year for cinephiles and everybody was Power of the Dog. And it got a crap ton of nominations, but what did it walk away with? 1 win. And that was it. And
I think we were talking about this recently. I think that like the Academy does not like to be told what to vote for. Yeah. And they felt Coda that whole year just felt like a discovery. Like it was organic, the love behind that movie. And it was the same thing with Parasite. Like people saw that movie and just like, oh my God.
Do you think that could be the same case then for The Fabelmans? If we're all saying it's the front runner, it's going to win, then therefore you're telling me what to vote for. And I don't like that. So I vote for Banshees, Women Talking.
I think it's possible, but I think that the one that I think feels like that occupies that slot this year is actually She Said.
Yeah, like you can't tell us to nominate that, even though it'll get in certain spots.
Yeah, but like that feels like the one where it's like, well, we have to award this movie because it's about us, and we're gonna look like assholes if we don't.
Which they're not concerned about that.
No, they're not concerned about that. They don't care.
Clearly.
Well, they're going to respect at a certain point is that they kind of don't really care about perception. Yeah. They just want to vote for what they want to vote for. But I do think that, yes, when there is this narrative of we have to push the Academy to reward this film because of capital I importance, there is pushback against that.
Yeah. Certain performances are different, though. Like if, like saying, oh, this performance is going to win is a difference than you telling us what will represent our best picture. Because like people are clearly like Brendan Fraser. It's like, yeah, they're okay with that. They have limits to their, I think, love. But then also too, like it's a long season, things can change.
Exactly.
And, it changed in a month last year. What was going to win Best Picture?
It changed in a week last year.
Yeah, literally, it was not until
48 hours. What was that? And then the whole, Sam Elliott stuff, and then the Critics' Choice and everything was like a perfect storm of like, what in the hell is going on?
Like PGA was a week before the Oscars last year. So.
Yeah, it was wild. And we
we have so much more season to go.
Yes.
Do you guys think of outside of your top 3, there is a dark horse? I mean, Dan, you mentioned Top Gun Maverick. Josh, do you feel something that like we're not giving
that
a
could
lot
like
of
win Best Picture?
Yeah, that like they can sneak in there. Don't say Avatar.
No, not Avatar.
I mean, underestimate James Cameron at your peril.
Right. Everybody says that, and then there's going to be the
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think Avatar is a threat to win.
No, I don't think that this is going to be a threat to win either. But I think it's going to be a stronger player than people are thinking it is right now. I really do think Triangle of Sadness is going to hit very well with the Academy.
Okay, I have no idea what to do with that movie in my predictions.
I understand, but you know what? Every once in a while, you walk out of a movie and you just have like a gut instinct about what you have just seen, and you kind of feel like you have to go with it until you're proven wrong. And even though that is a movie I did not personally love, I thought it was fine. I just did not fall in love with it. But my first instinct when I was done watching it was that's going to do well. Like it was just the first thing that popped into my head was that this is going to do well with the Academy, and I'm just going to stick with that until I'm proven wrong.
Like that's the movie that like everybody wouldn't shut up about at Middleburg, and I thought was winning the audience award.
Really?
Yeah, because they were like, everybody was like, "Oh my god, it was so funny!" And I'm like, "What planet am I on?" You know, I'm like, Dolly's great in the film. You know, there's nothing wrong with that performance.
Best performance in it, yeah,
the best performance in that film. But I just sat there and I went with the movie. I'm like, I am on a different planet than everybody else.
I mean, it was fine.
And then I sat there and yeah, Josh, I was like, yeah,
I will say
this could be the spoiler. Not to win, but you know, to get tons of nominations. You know?
I will say it is that sort of like it is a much better movie than this, but it reminds me in some ways of like the Don't Look Up.
Yeah.
Where it is just like it is low-hanging fruit.
And they love low-hanging fruit.
They love their low-hanging fruit.
They love it spoon-fed. They love it spoon-fed to like little babies, like baby bird right into their mouths.
The commentary in that movie is so shallow and blunt. And that's
like, not that I didn't laugh. I absolutely laughed.
Yeah.
I had a blast for the
first 2 thirds. I had a chuckle every now and then.
But like, yeah, it is very much like low-hanging fruit, very easy jokes. Some very funny ones, but very easy.
Which is why we'll do well with the Academy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. I mean, it's hard because like now you're starting to, or, you know, it's starting to feel like we've got 4 or 5 up in the top, and then everywhere else we're just starting to figure it out, you know, and see where it goes. And
we need to see what the precursors do and what the critics groups decide to push, if they really rally behind one thing, or if we're going to have another year when everyone likes their different things. Like this could be a year where everyone does say Spielberg, and that movie just wins every critics prize. And there's also a world where everyone goes in completely different directions, or
I do think that
where they say, you know what, Decision to Leave, you Academy, you better fucking nominate this year, and everyone rallies behind that. There are so many options this year.
Yeah, I agree. I tell you this, after the Babylon reactions and how divisive those were, and all over the map, it kind of made me go, okay, well, we can cross that one off the list of winning Best Picture. I think like that, you know, maybe like that sneaks in like a Nightmare Alley sort of situation where it's like he gets a bunch of tech nominations, nothing really above the line, and then squeaks into picture.
Oh, it could get an acting nomination or two.
Maybe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Well, I'm just saying, it's like, it feels like that kind of movie where it's divisive enough. We think it could get acting nominations. Maybe it doesn't, but its craft propels it over the top, into a 10, and everything there. I actually feel really confident right now in like 4 or 5 spots for Tar. I've been like, I'm really confident in it. The more I've been thinking about it, because that's a movie everybody's talking about still to this day. And when it got on VOD, everybody's talking about that movie. And they got Nina everywhere. They got Field everywhere. They've got Blanchett everywhere. It feels like I'm not underestimating that movie. Underestimate Todd Field at your own demise there. Somebody that they would love also to be like, hey, it's been a long time since we celebrated you. And I think you could get into director, screenplay, actress. I think editing. There's some good spots for it. You know.
I think it has the potential to be there.
Yeah. As a dark horse, damn right. You know what I mean? Not is it like at my top tier? No, but I feel confident in it.
It definitely has potential, but I don't know if I'd see that movie getting that many nominations. I mean, we will see.
I think it gets into picture easily. I really do. I think like I'm telling you, I have a weird feeling it's going to win New York critics.
I think it is possible that it gets into picture, but at this point, not probable.
I think it has.
Well, I think if you have Blanchett and Field in your director lineup, then you have to put it in the picture.
In screenplay,
yes, I agree. I don't have Field in director right now, but I do have it in screenplay.
Yeah, he's like 4 or 5 for in the lineup for me right there, and it's close. But also think too, if you have her winning Best Actress, like I do, you kind of have to have that in there right now. You know what I mean? So,
for her and that movie, yes. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, people can win Best Actress without the picture
But-
nomination.
I mean, she
but like
could.
for
Yes,
Blanchett,
yeah.
you kind of do.
I mean, also too, I think she could easily just, Blue Jasmine again, where she just sweeps and that movie doesn't get into Best Picture like that one did. So
Possible.
she's
Possible.
Maybe
Yeah.
that
I think
kind of
Blue Jasmine
actress.
was a little bit more
was-
digestible for people.
Yeah,
in a
no.
year-
It's a
and
Woody
in a
Allen
year-
movie.
Yeah,
And in a
and-
year of 10, that would have been a Best Picture.
Probably
movie.
would have been.
absolutely would have been
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
in a year of 10.
No, for sure. All right. Well, we're gonna skip a game this week because
We've rambled on about this last
We've
question
given
for
you
a
enough.
long time.
What more do you need than this? No. We'll do some games when we get back, when we have some more of us, but also when we have some more time and everything. And we'll have a fun December coming up as well too. There'll be some fun stuff we're going to be talking about, some end of the year stuff as well. So look forward to that. Josh Parham, can you tell everybody out there where they can find you and your stuff on the internet?
Well, for the time being, you can find me on Twitter at JR Parham. But you can also find my the most of my work over on Next Best Picture.
Okay. And Dan Bayer, where can we find you?
Again, for now, you can find me on Twitter at Dancing Dan on Film, and you can find my writing at Next Best Picture and AwardsWatch.
Dan starting the OnlyFans page once Twitter falls apart.
Oh, please, just for fans, not only
Just-
fans. Please.
Just for very nice. Yeah, I guess you can follow me on Twitter. If you, for now, like they said, at Ryan McQuade 77, as well as on Instagram and Letterboxd, same handle. You can find me here at awardswatch.com. Got some pretty cool stuff coming up this week. And you can also find my stuff at In Session Film, The Playlist, and Film Speak. We will be back first week of December with a new episode. Try to figure out what we're going to do then. We're going to let everybody have some time off, be with their family, and we hope that you all have a good holiday as well. And until then, we will see you all next time.